up, y'all? This is John and Mike back for another episode of the Nothing Finer podcast. As always, available on Millions and as a part of the Fans First Sports Network. We're doing another installment of To Hell with Everyone. If you love it, you missed it. It's been, I don't know, it feels like 2 months since we've done one with everything going on.
Yeah,
If you hate it, just, play it at 10 times speed and get done with it in a few minutes and help us out,
please.
please. Um, But this time we are talking about the 2007 World's Largest Outdoor Cocktail Party. If you're new, if you live under a rock, that's the Georgia Florida game, not Florida Georgia. Just had to throw that out there.
Mhm.
Um, we do these so infrequently, I forget how the format is every time. I should probably remember or do the easy thing and go back and look. Um, but we're going to jump right into it here. The way we got it set up is game notes, Florida stars, Georgia stars, and then game stuff. So, first thing we want to do is shout out PRSON Mike on YouTube for having this game put up there for us. I did think of something while I was watching this. We keep
Mhm.
saying person Mike, right?
Yeah, I thought that's what it was.
Is it prison Mike?
I mean, he doesn't have the copyright for it. Maybe he's just doing, the Lord's work from
And
behind bars.
has not uploaded a video in years now.
Yeah, because it's Wheels that does the ones now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, shout out if you're in prison and someone gets this to you. I don't know, man. Just send us an email. We'll put some money on your books. You deserve it.
Yeah. Free Mike. Free Mike.
Free Mike. All right, so into the game itself. They talked about it really ad nauseum throughout the game, but Tebow was coming off an injury. It was to his right shoulder. Um, so not his throwing shoulder. He is wrong-handed. You know, just kind of
Did
one of
he
those
did
things.
it, did he get it did he get it from doing the circumcisions out there in where the fuck Philippines, wherever he goes? I'm
I
sorry.
don't think he was doing circumcisions in the Philippines at the time. We'll have to look it up. Where's our Jamie?
Oh, the Jamie. Yeah. Caleb, let's go. I mean, they had a bye week before. No,
They,
no.
they did. They did.
Yeah.
So in this series, Georgia had lost 15 of the last 17 games. That's insane.
It's hard to fathom that it was that bad. I mean, I remember it vividly that it was that bad, but going back to the recent string of dominance, it's crazy to think how one-sided this had been up to that
Yeah.
point.
And I've talked about it on the show before. It, I don't know if it's head injuries or just because I'm a degenerate and have done things probably shouldn't have done. This is the first Georgia game I remember watching. Like I know I watched games before, but like this
Hmm.
is the first one that I can think of. So
Yeah.
before to lose 15 to 17, that's today that gets you fired 3 times over.
I mean, that's what happened with Florida with with Mullen and soon to be Napier, I'm sure, and
I,
McElwain and
yeah,
yeah, all that. Honestly, it's funny that you mentioned that. This is the first Georgia game I think I watched from like beginning to end. Again, not even didn't even cross my mind that this would be an option to, that Georgia would be my team at that point. It was more to see Matt Stafford because again, Lions were shit. He would get drafted the following year in 2008, but just
yeah,
got some early scouting.
yeah. So 2007 was actually the first time since 1991 that Georgia had had a bye week before this game. Now it's a staple. I'm
Mhm.
sure after this
Yeah.
game, with winning it, making it 3 out of the last 18, they were like,
Mhm.
huh, maybe there is something to this, you know, getting rest before, before,
Like your biggest
or
game,
yeah, before our
arguably.
biggest game.
Yeah.
Sorry, my train of thought keeps getting distracted because the Braves aren't doing well, and the last two hits have gone right towards Acuna, who,
He's off.
well, he fouled a ball off the inside of his knee earlier.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't even see that. Yeah. Oh, and
Yeah,
Austin Riley
so
got hurt too.
Yes, Austin Riley also got hurt. Not great. Hopeful. I was hoping they were sweeping the Mets today because fuck the Mets, but is what it is.
Indeed.
Um, Other game notes. So Gator Stomp is one of the most iconic moments in Georgia history. I I probably top five in just college football rivalry history.
Yeah.
Like obviously the kick six, Auburn, Alabama, up
Yeah,
there,
that's top.
up there.
Yeah.
Um, the You're gonna hate me for saying this.
Nope, don't. No, don't do it.
You know exactly what I'm saying, don't you?
You know the App State finish, right?
Nope.
Oh.
The Michigan State blocked kick return for six at
That
the
was
end of the
that was the
game.
next one, yeah. Yep. Yep.
I was talking about rivalries, but no, this is absolutely one
That's
of the
fair.
most iconic moments in rivalry history in college football. Um, but man, as soon as this, like, it was a couple seconds after they finished, and Georgia had 30 yards worth of penalties. Vern made a Mormon joke. He is one of us.
What did he say? Because I didn't hear it in the version that I watched.
Oh, I don't remember. I wish
Soak
I
it
had wrote
in.
it down. No, 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 no.
Soak it in.
It
Leave it out
was
there for as long as you can.
no, it was man. I don't remember it. I'll have to go back and like clip it out of the video. It's an awesome joke. Vern is one of us.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I talked about it a second ago. Gator Stomp had 30 yards worth of penalties. Um, and then I think you put this in here. Number 38 getting hype after the Gator Stomp should be on an infinite loop in the Georgia Florida Hall of Fame.
Yeah, like he was like so like Vern was talking about it and they were getting everybody off the field and he's just sitting there like pounding his chest. He's like, "Ugh," like shaking his dreads and stuff like that. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go.
One of my favorite things about this was Georgia's did the Gator Stomp. Obviously, everybody knows that. Go back to the sideline. Everybody's hyped up. And then Urban Meyer's walking up and down their sideline trying to get their guys hyped up. And it's like a hype competition between sidelines
Yeah.
because Urban Meyer got upset. He's like, fuck you, get excited. Get excited right now.
Well, we know what we do. We know what Urban likes to do when he gets excited.
Have a heart attack?
Well, I was gonna say, stick his finger up your butt, but yeah, that too.
Oh, I mean,
Like, yeah,
there's a number of things about Urban we could have said there.
kick you when you're stretching. Yeah, all
Kick
that.
you when you're stretching, finger up the butt, have a heart attack, have a college girl sit on his married lap. Is what it is.
The moral compass of college football, some would say.
I None would say actually.
Oh, okay.
If you think Urban Meyer is a moral compass of college football, I got some beachfront property in Tennessee to sell you.
Yeah.
So Florida Stars, list is actually pretty. Not all of these guys played a big role in this game. A lot of them played a lot more the next season. But so at the top, Tim Tebow, one of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time. As a Georgia fan, if you're
Yeah.
arguing against it, you're just wrong.
Hmm. Just a hater.
Yeah, Percy Harvin, elite. He was a
Sick.
cheat code. He's a cheat
Yeah.
code.
Hmm.
If you watch the roast of Tom Brady, when they made the joke about Gronk being born with CTE, Percy Harvin may have been the second person born with CTE. Speaking of CTE, Aaron Hernandez was on the team. So was Brandon Spikes, Joe Hayden, and both of the Pouncey brothers. So star-studded. I'm sure Urban Meyer did not have any of them delivered money to get their commitment and sign.
Not a
Um,
chance.
as you said, the unmoral compass of college football. Georgia Stars, Matthew Stafford, No Sean Marino, AJ Green was not on this team, was
Yeah, I
he?
was gonna say he was.
He showed up the next season.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. Because
Okay.
AJ Green, yeah, yeah. AJ Green, the whole Jersey thing with him happened like I think in 2009. So yeah, I think
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they had a year overlap, didn't they? I guess. Oh
Yeah,
wait,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh wait,
Yeah,
um, Geno Atkins in one of what feels like his 35 seasons at the University of Georgia. I
yeah.
I really I in my brain Geno Atkins played for Kirby. Like I
He did
know
feel like
it's
he was
not
there
true.
forever.
I know it's not true. It was John Atkins that played for Kirby,
Mm,
but big nose tackle, last name Atkins.
mm,
It just feels like Geno played forever.
yeah.
Um,
It's like the
you got
quarterback for Nebraska. They've had a Martinez the last like 20 years until
accurate,
now. Yeah.
accurate. Muhammad Massaquoi played for a number of teams in the NFL. And then a lot of people may not remember this name, but I do. Brandon Coutu was the kicker for the team. Um, Biggest reason I remember it is his dad was the general manager of the Kroger that my family grocery shopped at.
Oh, neat.
So
Okay.
every time I would go there, somebody in my family would say, the general manager here's son is the kicker for Georgia.
Every time.
Every time.
Oh, there's his name.
Every
I recognize
single
that.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
Brandon Coutu. I will never forget that name because of this.
It's a cool name too.
It is.
Katu.
It's a great
Cool
name.
name, Katu.
It is a great name.
Yeah.
Um,
I put this part in there, but besides Stafford, which player from this game ended up with the best pro career in your opinion?
oh, that is a great question. It really depends on what you're looking for. Because No Sean Marino didn't play for as long as Geno Atkins,
Nobody does.
but
Nobody does.
yeah, fair, fair. But No Sean Moreno had a lot more playoff games. He had a lot more stats. He had a lot more good years. But I think Geno's only been retired for like 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long.
Yeah, if that. I'm actually gonna look it up. So it really depends. Are you talking about longevity or notoriety? Because that's one thing. I mean, No Sean Marino, with one of his injuries or something, the dude legitimately cried blood before every game.
I was gonna say like yeah, he did. I was like, I think he's more known for that as a pro than anything he did on the field.
Well, he overlapped with Peyton Manning
Tebow.
for a
uh,
year or so, didn't he? We'll look that
He
up in a
he
second.
may have. I think him and Tebow were on the same team.
Yes,
They had
I
to
know
be. They
that.
had to have
Yeah,
been.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They had a playoff win together.
Yeah.
Um, Geno Atkins retired after the 2020 season from the Bengals. Played 10 years
God.
all for the same team.
Hmm. Okay. It felt like longer, but yeah.
It did. No Sean Moreno. When did he?
He didn't play that long. I mean, I think he
No,
was
he
retired for
he
a little while.
retired after the 2014 season. When
Yeah.
did Peyton get to
I
Denver?
want to say it was 2011 or 2012.
Let's look it up. That's a
Yeah.
great thing about doing this on the computer.
Um, I mean, you could argue Percy Harvin just because he has a Super Bowl or two with Seattle, but again, and he played well
Oh,
with
I thought you were talking about
Minnesota.
just Georgia players.
Oh no, I mean between all of them. I mean Tebow's pro career was shit. Percy Harvin was great. Aaron Hernandez,
Both of the Pouncey brothers have Super Bowl titles.
yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
But I think of
Um.
like of all these guys, I mean, I would think that probably Matt Stafford has the best chance of being like a Hall of Famer between the
Yes.
two teams.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I mean, he's legitimately been top 10 quarterback in the league since 2010,
Hmm.
and now he's got a Super Bowl ring. He's probably coming back for one last hurrah with what the Rams have done this offseason. But
Yeah.
no, I Matt Stafford's definitely number one. But Peyton Manning and O'Shawn Moreno did play together for 1 year,
Hmm. Okay.
so I'm not entirely insane.
That doesn't seem right. But oh yeah, I mean, I know you're right, but it doesn't
Um,
seem fathomable that that happened. But yeah,
yeah, it doesn't even Peyton Manning going to the Broncos in 2011 doesn't seem right.
it seems like it was a lot more recent than that, at least
It
to me.
does. It does. If
She's
you'd
been
have
retired for a
said
bit. He's in the Hall of Fame
Peyton,
now.
yeah, if you'd have said Peyton Manning left the Broncos or left the Colts 13 years ago, I would have been like, nah, dude, that was like 8 years ago. What are you talking about?
Right. Hmm.
But this game was number 20 Georgia versus number 9 Florida. Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, and South Carolina were all tied for top in the East when this game happened. 2007, crazy season.
Yes.
But Georgia lost to both South Carolina and Tennessee already. So Georgia was second in the East after winning this game. Or no, third, because South Carolina and Tennessee were tied for first.
Mm.
Yeah, wild
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
I almost feel like we should do an entire episode, if not like series, about the 2007 season. Because you hear people talk all the time about how wild it is, but like just going week by week and like
You start off week one, Michigan losing to App State, and then that same Michigan team beat this Florida team in the Citrus Bowl or Capital One Bowl or whatever, whatever game is in Orlando.
yeah, and I mean USF was ranked number 2 at one point during 2007.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah. West Virginia should have made the national championship, but Rich Rod blew it because he was talking Michigan.
you know, Michigan loves to ruin things.
Tell me.
um, But this was, I think this was a rare game for Mark Richt, and I don't mean by beating a higher ranked opponent. I don't actually mean anything negative about that statement. For me, it's more of a Mark Richt came into this game and said, "I'm whipping it out. Go for it. Like point blank. Period. I'm whipping it out. Prove you're better than me. Prove it."
Yeah, Mark would never say like Kirby would say, fuck them motherfuckers. He would never say that. At least
No,
not publicly.
no,
Well,
and it seemed like Mark Richt always tried to have like a finessey game plan when it came to beating these type of teams.
mhm.
And
Yeah, got in his own head.
exactly, he overthought it. But this was a game where he was like, "No, shut up, fuck you, prove you're better than me. You can't
No
do it."
Sean, run through him.
Yeah, legitimately.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the things you could tell right off the bat was Tebow was obviously hurting. First play of the game, he got sacked into his hurt shoulder, and it seems like Willie Martinez made an emphasis on hitting Tim Tebow throughout the game, and an extra emphasis on, if possible, make him land on his hurt shoulder.
They sacked him at least 6 times too in that
It
game.
was. It was.
Mm,
So Georgia came into this game last week of October, 7 sacks on the season, and had 6 in that game.
same.
And the last Florida offensive play of the game, you could call it a sack because it was a fumbled snap where somebody landed on top of Tebow. But he needed an ice bath and some Hail Marys after that game.
Hmm. And he still went on to win the Heisman that year.
Yeah, I college Tim Tebow is really truly on another level.
Yeah.
Um, I miss the I formation sweeps. Pretty much the entire first drive for Georgia was I formation sweep.
Hmm.
Pull in the right guard, right tackle. You got right guard, right tackle, fullback, and a tight end just mowing people down. Like they were
It is
doing a football
fun.
flying V.
Yeah, bring it back, Bobo.
Bet you won't do it. You're scared of the I formation. I still think that redshirting No Sean Moreno probably still haunts Mark Richt.
Oh, for sure.
Especially because Moreno only did 2 seasons playing for the team.
Hmm.
It's one of those things where what could 2006 have been with Moreno? Probably not. Probably doesn't change it a whole lot. But having 2007 Moreno within a starting year of experience already,
Yeah, that could have been the difference for sure.
yeah. Um, so everybody talks about junkyard dogs, right? I guess always a thing for Georgia. Let's talk about jail yard Florida because I'm pretty sure half of this 2017, um, has arrest records. At least half of the guys with scholarships. Um, Jail Florida was wild. Every play of the game. If
Mm-hmm.
you watch the full like 2.5 hour video on YouTube, every single play of the game, Florida players trying to fight after the play.
Mm-hmm.
Every single play of the game, and that's not even that doesn't even bring into account the crazy shit they were doing off the field.
Yeah.
No wonder Brenton Cox wanted to go to Florida. He remembers that.
Right.
Um, it's still absurd that Florida fans talk shit about horns down being a flag, but their team bitched to the SEC until any other team doing the chomp in general on the field is a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're a Florida fan that happens to listen to this, I don't ever want to hear you talk shit about horns down being a penalty because doing the, a guy got a touchdown, no Florida player close to him, ran around the end zone doing the chomp, got a 15-yard penalty. Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah.
Florida is the SEC's Texas.
Yeah.
Thinks they're better than they are, bitches all the time, whiny as hell.
You do a tradition that's easily very, I don't know, I should say very easy to make fun of.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Between the first and second quarter, they had a UGA in Georgia montage to Who Let the Dogs Out.
Eek 2007.
Peak 2007. But both Big Dog Woods and his dad were there at the game with heads painted up. So just rest in peace to both of those guys.
Yeah.
Really, truly damn good dogs. And I had to pause the video for a second because I was like, damn, like that was before either of them passed away. That was before either of them got sick,
Mm-hmm.
and that was I don't know. It's just kind of as a Georgia fan, it's special that you can say Big Dog Woods know exactly who you're talking about,
Yeah.
and they were both there for this game. That was a historic game for Georgia, at least under Mark Richt. It was.
Yeah. But that was only like the third win he had against Florida. I mean,
Yeah.
he only had three total, right? Yeah. I think it was.
No, that was the
He beat
second one against
Muschamp.
Florida.
He had that. He had the Muschamp one,
He had 2012.
mm, which that game was crazy too.
Yes, yes. No, we talk when we were talking about doing this game, well, inside the park baseball. We had a toss up between '07 and 2012.
Yeah.
Um, but Georgia had the third and Grantham energy for 4 quarters for every down. They came into the game with 7 sacks. I already kind of talked about this a little bit, but it was every single play. Like they would give up big screen passes to Percy Harvin, but Tim Tebow was on his ass every
Yeah.
play.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you had to play Tebow. If you gave him time and you didn't let him know that you were there, he was eating you alive.
Yeah.
Um, so going into the players just a little bit. Um, Moreno was all but one. I had all but one play as a run play in the first drive. There were 9 plays on Georgia's first drive. 8 of them were to no Sean Moreno. 5 of them were I formation sweeps.
Hell yeah.
The only one that wasn't for him was a fullback dive. He finished the game with 33 carries for 188 yards.
Like I said, literally, he put the team on his back.
Oh, like Mike Bobo and Mark Rick hopefully are paying for his back rehab still to this day.
Yeah. Right.
Um, and this is an entirely different tangent, but I thought of it watching this game, and I want to get some takes from both you, Mike, and some of the listeners.
Mm-hmm.
We need an alternate box score, and what I mean by that is like fans arrested during the game, ankles taken, times mossed, times mossing people, and I put it in here as a DTHT. That's damn that hurt tackles.
Mm-hmm.
Like we need an alternative alternative box score of the shit that people really care about, the highlights, the Sports Center top 10 moments. Because if let's put it like this, if ankles were Pokemon cards, No Sean Marino had them all at the end of this game. He called them all.
Yeah. I mean, that should be our stat for 2024. That Georgia led the country in DTHTs
It,
because I didn't keep track of the other ones.
yeah, like tackles, who cares? But
Yeah.
tackles where a defensive lineman hits quarterback so hard they're both horizontal 3 feet off the ground, that's
Yeah.
what we care about.
Yeah. Hits to make you say, "Damn, that
Yes.
hurt."
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, especially on some of these drives where Moreno got in the open field and made three guys miss at the same time and they were all flying in different directions. Like, that's one of those. I really wish we had an ankles taken stat. Like, we needed
Yeah. Hmm.
it. Percy Harvin was a damn human cheat code. I, like, man, he's one of those guys that if the NFL would have done the right thing, and by the right thing, I mean done the thing for the consumer, they would have said, yeah, Percy, we don't give a shit about weed. Smoke during the game. Like, hit
Hmm.
that damn pin. No one cares.
Yeah.
But you are one of the most electric players the league's ever seen. Try not to get hit in the head.
Yes.
Like, I hate that he went to Florida.
Yeah.
Putting my bias out there. But damn, Percy Harvin was so fun to watch.
He was at every level. It's too bad he didn't have a longer pro career like we were talking about too. But I mean, still successful in the limited touches that he had.
Oh, and him and Russell Wilson in Seattle was insane while they were together. Like,
Hmm.
Percy, if you hear this, which you probably won't, I wish you played for longer.
I think he does
Um,
too.
I maybe,
Yeah.
maybe it depends on what he's doing afterwards.
Yeah. It's fair.
But Stafford's arm was truly something that doesn't get talked about enough in college. Like everybody, I feel like he's one of those guys that All right, fairly good comp here. He was the Josh Allen before Josh Allen. He was the
Yeah,
guy
that's good. Mhm.
never really accomplished a whole lot in college. Like, did they have some good years? Yes. But did he ever win, quarterback of the year, Heisman, national title, SEC title for that matter? No.
Yeah.
But you look at the guy, you watch him play, you watch him throw, and you're like, that guy has everything. He has all the pieces.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of putting the puzzle together. Because
Yeah.
his first throw of the game was 350 left in the first quarter, and it was like 45-yard throw that never got higher than 8 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
Like it was just zipped in right in between Massaqua's hands for him to just keep going. Like that's one of
Hmm.
those. I feel like draft scouts looked at that play and said, "Yeah, he's worth a pick. Doesn't matter what it is."
And to this day, I'm still thankful that Sam Bradford decided to come back to Oklahoma for the year that he ended up winning the Heisman, I think, because that allowed Detroit to take Matt Stafford because they would have been radically different. It would have been even worse if we had Sam Bradford's, glass made of glass ass or however you want to say it.
I don't know, man. I've dropped glass and it hasn't broken. He might be made of like paper mache.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, you saw 2 minutes later in the game the bad side of college Matt Stafford because he threw a pick six. As he was getting tackled to the ground, instead of trying to throw it away, instead of trying to throw it at the feet of somebody else, he said, "Oh, Muhammad Massaqua's down there somewhere,"
Mhm.
and turns out he wasn't. It was Florida's defensive back
Yeah, he wasn't
that.
even yeah, he wasn't even in the frame.
Nope, nope. The Florida defensive back was the only player in the frame,
Yeah. Hmm.
and had a pick six where. And this is just one of those things that shows you how much college football has changed because if a player did a front flip into the end zone on a pick six today, no flag.
Right. Yeah, you
But
couldn't celebrate at all.
no, no, you
Yeah.
couldn't celebrate at all. And I'm glad they changed that, but it was Front flip into the end zone, 15 yards.
Mm.
Um, Keeping on the Matt Stafford thing, I'm pretty sure he's gotten faster with age. Like I'm pretty
He's lost
sure
weight.
he lost weight, but like Matt Stafford scrambling today is faster than Matt Stafford scrambling in 2007.
I think because he's afraid to get hurt, just because of like the memories he had from like the really bad like lines in Detroit, that he had to run for his life. I mean, they always have to play, and I brought it up before too. Like his first season in Detroit, they were playing Cleveland to like break like the 20 something game losing streak they had, and he like separated his shoulder or like broke his collarbone or whatever.
Yeah,
Just got destroyed, and then came in there for the next play after a timeout and threw the game winning touchdown.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think he it wasn't so much frat Stafford or fat Stafford in Detroit. He grew up once he became a professional.
And I if Matt Stafford scrambles this year, clock it on your phone, like rewind it, like try to see how long it takes him to get 5 yards, and then go
Mhm.
back and watch this game. It's legitimately half the time it took him in 2007.
Yeah, he looks like he was in pain, just trying to
Um,
run.
yeah, it looked like he was taller, less hefty lefty.
Yeah, yeah,
Dude had cement in his shoes in '07. Good
mhm,
lord.
yeah,
Um, but I think Muhammad Masvidal, speaking of players, I think he was an early George Pickens, and I mean that in the sense of he had some drops like that. They talked about it in this game. His problem on the 2007 season was he dropped a lot of passes,
yeah,
but when he was on, top 10 guy in the country. Like he was faster than you, he could catch better than you, he had better body control than you,
yeah.
but it was getting that switch to flip on wasn't consistent, you know?
Mhm. Well, and he only had the one catch in this game, I think. I don't know if I don't remember if I put it in here or not, but like,
He had a few drops in this game for sure.
yeah. But he had like a 80 something yard touchdown from
80,
that.
I want to say it was 86.
Yeah, it was long. Yeah.
And it was just he caught the pass and there was a Florida guy about 5 yards from him, and then for the rest of the run you didn't see another player.
Yeah. It was chef's kiss.
It really was beautiful. Um but last thing we're going to talk about before we get into a little bit of stats, Tebow was injured in this game, so he wasn't able to play his full game. But in those obvious passing situations, you kind of understand why he was looked at the way he was in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like I always wondered why Tebow wasn't looked at better for the NFL and why he didn't last as long. And then, going back and watching this game and you see an obvious passing situation, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, you have the longest throwing motion I've ever seen, and you only stare at one guy. Yep,
Mhm.
I understand.
Yeah. Which worked at Florida when you have Percy Harvin and Aaron Hernandez and stuff like that. Sure.
Yeah, and you had a phenomenal offensive line.
Hmm.
A little bit different story at Denver.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, they did win a playoff game.
He did. He who was it?
Well,
The
he that
Ravens.
pass to Bebe Thomas though. I mean, they were playing prevent. Like they were like making like they're trying to keep everything ahead of them, and it didn't work. And that's why the prevent never works.
Um, I'm gonna wrongly attribute this quote. I know I am, but I want to say it's a Bear Bryant quote. It's either Bear Bryant or Nick Saban, one of the Alabama coaches,
Mhm.
arguably two of the best coaches ever coached college football. The only thing a prevent defense does is prevent you from winning.
It feels like a Saban thing, but it could be, I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know
sure it
either,
was one of them. Yeah.
but every damn close football game I watch, I say that quote
Mhm.
because it's true.
Okay.
It's absolutely true. Um, Stats. So, before we get into this, if you watch this game, like you go back and watch it, nostalgia. Also, sorry about the video quality. Apparently, we've gone light years in the past 17. But Georgia did not play well enough to win this game.
No,
Offense,
not at all.
defense, special teams, nowhere. They played poorly in every facet of the game except turnover margin,
Hmm.
and that's legitimately I think the only reason they won this game. Um, but Stafford was 11 for 17 for 217 yards, three touchdowns, and then that pick six we talked about. Tebow was 14 to 22 for 236 yards and one touchdown, but he also had two rushing. Both of those were late in the game. Um, no Sean Marino, 33 carries, 188 yards, three touchdowns, and a 42-yard run.
Hmm.
And then Percy Harvin had 10 carries for 97 yards, and then he had 41 yards receiving
Yeah, Swiss
because
Army knife.
Swiss Army knife. But they actually talked about it in the broadcast. They didn't want to run Harvin as a running back, but on Florida's first offensive drive, they had a fumble on right around the 50, and that's how Georgia scored their first
Yeah.
touchdown.
Hmm.
Um, and that running back did not see the field until the fourth quarter.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Um, Georgia was 10 of 13 on third down, while Florida was 4 of 10, thanks to those sacks. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, it was six sacks. Should have been seven if Tebow had caught that snap on their very last offensive play. Because by the time the ball made it to Tim Tebow's area, Georgia's defensive line had two guys knocking him to the ground.
Yeah.
So should have been seven, should have doubled their season total on that last Florida offensive play. Is what it is. Georgia beat Florida 2007, only third win in the last 18 meetings. Um, I mean, that's spanning both Spurrier and Urban.
Mhm. And Ron Zook. Ew.
Somehow,
Yeah.
I forget that he coached at Florida
Mhm.
frequently. Frequently
He,
forget that.
for all the shit that Ron Zook got, I know this is way off topic and I know we're about to end, but him being the coach at Illinois and brought fucking Illinois to the Rose Bowl doesn't get talked about nearly enough.
I actually, for the rest of his coaching career in relevant programs, I think it gets talked about plenty
Yeah, that's yeah.
enough.
Somehow that yeah, yeah.
um, but that's gonna do it for this. To hell with everyone. Um, as always, follow us on social media. Instagram is at nothing.finder.pod. Twitter is at finderpod. Facebook and YouTube, just search us there. Make sure to subscribe to the Facebook. TikTok, Nothing Finder Podcast, four in a row, no big deal. I'm a genius. Um, and this is coming out on the day of our Connect Savannah banquet. So check social media tonight, because I am sure that I'm going to post pictures on our Instagram story at bare minimum of
Mhm.
both Mike and I, at least one sheet to the wind, with the open bar.
Yeah.
And, just having a good time. Thanks to you guys. Thanks for all your support. Um, and as always, remember there's nothing finer in the land.
Then a drunk obnoxious Georgia fan.